ride in a straight line through deep sandy whoops has a purpose. This is the workout portion of riding. Even though a lot of people think it's probably pretty boring just to watch me fucking go wide open throttle on a straight fucking line. Let's go do some trails though. So one of the topics I've been thinking about doing a talking head vlog on, even though it's a topic that's been done to death, not only by mainstream media, but by pretty much every major YouTube personality as well, is the subject of bullies and bullying. Now, you guys know I don't normally like to do something unless I think I can add something new to the subject, and that is one that I think I can, Let me add a different perspective. I'm not saying that I'm going to defend bullies, that's not what you should expect from me. I'm not going to go like, yeah, well, when I say a different perspective, I'm not going to say, yeah, bullying's cool, and kids who get bullied should just shut up and take it. Like, not that different of a perspective. Whenever I see people talk about bullies or talk about bullying, a lot of times they talk about the victims, okay? And in my mind, if you want to solve a problem, you don't focus on the victim, you focus on the perpetrators, because the perpetrators are the ones who are doing something wrong. Now, I'm not saying that, we should just ignore victims of bullying. No, they need our help. They need people looking out for them. That's absolutely true. But if you really want to stop victims from happening, if you want to stop victims from happening, you need to stop perpetrators from happening. If there are no perpetrators, there are no victims. That's just kind of how it works. And I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this because I was a bully in high school and middle school. It's always sort of bothered me how bullies get portrayed both on social media and in mainstream media, news, TV, stuff like that. Bullies always sort of get portrayed as these one-dimensional characters who are just cruel beyond belief and think they're better than everybody else, and the only reason that they pick on anybody is because they're just trying to flaunt their supposed superiority. That's what a bully is. He's a jock, he's a rich kid, he's a big strong dumb kid who the only thing he enjoys is just picking on people who are smaller than him. And I'm just like, that's always bothered me, because in reality, the reality couldn't be farther from the truth. Do those kids exist? Are there rich dickhead jock kids out there who just kind of will always be assholes and love to flaunt their superiority over those they perceive to be weaker or less fortunate than they are? Yeah, those people are real. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying they're probably fewer and far between than you think. In reality, at least in my reality and my experiences, I was a bully, not because I thought I was better than everybody else. Man, I fucking hated myself. I hated myself. I felt in no way that I had any control over my life. I had huge problems at home. My grandparents who had raised me were, both died when I was a teenager. So when I was in the process of becoming a man, I feel like I really lacked that guidance, and my father did eventually come into my life, but that was a whole fight in and of itself. Anyway, what I'm saying is I was a confused, incredibly angry young man who really was just basically reaching out for help and never really received it. Never really had anybody give a shit. And that's okay. I'm not saying let's have a fucking pity party. For me, I got over it. What I'm saying is I wasn't a bully because I thought I was better than everybody else. I wasn't a bully because I was a rich kid. We were fucking poor. And you never see media, at least not very often, you never see them kind of tackle that whole subject is, you know, why are people bullying? Did I make a lot of people's lives hell? Absolutely. And it took me years to come to terms with that. Hated myself and hated the person I was in high school for years and years and years, man. I'm so truly sorry to anybody whose life that I affected negatively when it came to dealing with my own inner turmoil and rage. Because it was a lot, you know? There's a lot of people. One of the things that always gets me is high school movies, you know, where you see the nerds triumphing over the bullies or over the jocks. Like the nerdy guy, in the end he gets the girl and defeats the jock, and good triumphs over evil, and the rich jock who was the bully and picked on him gets his comeuppance finally. He gets what's coming to him in this sort of weird revenge fantasy. There's good guys and there's bad guys in those movies. And let me tell you, every time I watched one as an adult, I looked at it and I said, I was the bad guy in that story. Not a pleasant feeling to look back and realize that. And also not a pleasant feeling to see that the stereotype that you might have fit into, the way it's portrayed after you leave high school, you know, because it was so much more than that. It was so much more than how the story gets told afterwards. But yeah, I was the bad guy. Of course, in real life, there are no bad guys. There are no good guys. Nobody thinks they're evil. You know what I always think of is if I ever get super successful on YouTube. One of the things I think about is when that thing on Twitter went viral of that guy saying, you know, teachers always said, you know, don't worry about your high school bullies. They'll never amount to anything. They're losers. They'll never be successful. This guy posted this screen cap of Jake or Logan Paul, I forget who it was, just like doing really well and like making millions of dollars on YouTube, and he's like, well, I guess that's out the window because this is my literal high school bully, and look at how successful he is. Someone could say that about me. There are people out there that if I ever get really large and successful on YouTube or in any other my other endeavors, they could just go, that guy was a fucking prick to me. That guy's a fucking piece of shit asshole who made my life hell. And now he gets to be successful. Life isn't fair. What a piece of shit. Like, I'm totally open to the fact that could happen. Maybe it'll even be a scandal. People will be like, shadetree surgeon, supposed nice guy, was an actual bully in high school. Yeah, I was. You want to get out the pitchforks? You want to start some fires? String a rope up and fucking come crucify me? Go ahead, man. I was a misunderstood, angry young man in high school, and people got hurt because of it. I'm not saying that Logan Paul's like a good guy because of that. Like, oh, Logan Paul was a bully, so him and I are the same. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's usually more than you see on the surface. Anyway, that's kind of an idea for a talking head vlog that I've been kicking around for a while. What do you guys think? You think it's something you'd be interested in? Or do you think I'm just gonna like totally shoot myself in the foot and it'll be like shadetree surgeon exposed as a bully? Who knows, man? It's funny looking back at how just angry and helpless I felt. It was, you know, I had no control over my life, but I figured out through violence, intimidation, and my words, even though I couldn't control my own life, I could control other people. And that's where my bullying sprang from. And I'll tell you, I hated the person I was for years. That guy Josh, high school Josh, I hated that guy. I fucking despised him. It took me years to come to terms with that. And he's dead and gone now. High school Josh is no more. That is a dead man. He no longer exists. But I don't hate him anymore. I just feel bad for him. I don't hate that poor kid. I just feel pity for him.